Well, good morning and welcome to the episode 3 of the Good Chat. Today, Sam, we're fortunate enough to be joined by our team. Sam,
welcome team.
Did you want to introduce
Yeah,
the team
welcome.
members?
Well, to my right here, I've got the lovely Nehme. And further to my right, I've got the lovely Sonia.
Good
Sonia
morning.
Rahme.
Good morning.
Yeah,
everyone.
so welcome guys. Welcome to the chat.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Thank
You know what? Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and what it is that you do?
Okay.
Yeah, you go for it.
housing.
I'm Nehme. My role as a relationship manager takes into account a couple of areas in the business. I manage the SIL partnerships. I bring on the new SIL partners.
Yeah.
And I also work with the SIL partners, bringing in new tenants to our properties, identifying participants, finding them, working with them, and bringing them into the home. So I'll elaborate on that.
Sorry, what's a SIL?
A SIL is a partner that is a provider who provides supported independent living services.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of acronyms.
There's a lot of acronyms.
So Lily, you
in
want to
this
tell
business.
us how long you've been with us at Good Housing and all the acronyms you've needed to learn and how fast it took you?
It's been amazing. It's been an incredible journey. I joined Good Housing and the wonderful Good Housing team 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Wow. 12 months ago.
Yeah.
And
12 months.
You
Wow.
passed your probation?
Yes, I passed the probation period. I was lucky. I had to wait 6 months before they agreed for me to stay, and then they said, we can't live without you.
And then your 12-month bonus is your coffee machine that you've been asking for?
Yes, I'm waiting for a wonderful coffee machine in our new office.
Yeah.
And we're hoping and praying that we get that soon. Because it really helps kickstart the day, doesn't it?
I don't know what's
We
wrong with
only-
instant coffee. I still don't get it. But
Yeah,
anyway.
well, you got to be a coffee drinker to understand the difference
Okay,
between
right.
a good coffee and a
And
bad.
Lavazza
That's right.
compared to anything else.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
It's an art form.
absolutely.
Is that a plug,
I'm
is
not
it?
going to run an ad for coffee or even Costco.
Unless
for that
they want
matter.
you to.
Honestly.
Lavazza?
But I'm happy for them to pay for the ad if they want to. Costco have a wonderful Lavazza coffee machine.
Yeah.
No, but in all truth, I've loved the journey of just the last 12 months of working with you guys and moving in and working in the disability space. My history was in the medical space and then the telecommunications area, and I moved into HR and recruitment, and I found that those roles have helped me transition into the space very easily, and it's wonderful because I bring with it the understanding of and the empathy of understanding what people are going through in their
At any stage of
at
life.
any stage of life, and it's helped prepare me for the journey that we have.
Yeah. But what about the acronyms?
Yes, the acronyms.
Can we have some
the
of them?
acronyms. There are so many, and let me tell you, I had to write down everything, and I would spend many hours trying to undo the acronyms.
30 seconds, go for it.
Okay.
Rattle them off.
All right, SIL, SIL provider, supported independent living.
No, you don't have to explain, just
Oh,
rattle them off.
SIL, SDA,
NDIS.
NDIS,
NDIA.
NDIA. I mean, they're endless.
SCs,
I can't-
OTs.
Yeah, SCs, COS, OTs.
COS.
Yeah,
The
COS.
COS, yeah.
It's endless. But I have to say, I felt like I needed to do a degree in the disability space, just trying to navigate the NDIS
Well, I do think that
minefield.
I do think you've you've graduated with a diploma or a master's in the NDIS now.
Okay, I'm pleased to hear that. I didn't in the beginning. I didn't know if I'd get there in the end, but
it's good that you can rattle off those acronyms and then break it down for those people that you do
absolutely,
meet that want to know.
Well, at least you get what they're going through.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I do.
You get what the mums and dads out
Yes,
there.
I
and
feel for the mums and dads, and I know how challenging it can be to deal with the NDIS and the NDIA.
We'll come back, and I definitely want to rip in and understand a little bit more about the tenant journey, or also how we collaborate with the SILs.
So what are we ripping? I hope we're not ripping
Or get
anything.
into.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's a phrase I use in everything. It's probably not the right time to use it.
Bag of chips.
We won't rip out of anything or rip into anything.
I'm thinking food.
All right, Sonia, so I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
How about that?
Thank you.
Don't rip
That was
in.
a-
I won't rip into it.
Don't rip anything, please.
Well, yeah, good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me this morning. I'm the newbie to the team, as you all know. So I've been fortunate enough to join the Good Housing team. It's been almost 3 months now.
All
So
right.
you are still in probation.
So I'm definitely in probation.
Today's a big day for you.
Yeah, it's still the warranty period, so I think the guys still have a chance to pull out if they...
And you too.
And me too, actually. It's a good safeguard.
Yeah.
But I empathise with Lily because the acronyms have definitely been a challenge.
Mm.
But
But
we're
you've
getting
had the
there.
professor in the NDIS in teaching you.
Lil has been instrumental in helping me in this process because it certainly is, just like you, it's a new sector. I haven't worked in the disability sector before.
Yeah.
But coming from the medical, telco, HR, it's just been a good, leaping ground.
Yeah, but you know what I think you really bring to the table is that personability, right? It's just amazing.
Oh, that's so
It
nice.
is, it is.
Thank you. I'll pay you later. But,
Yeah.
that's
No,
beautiful.
no, we're
Well,
paying you.
well, yeah, actually, I'll pay you back.
So stick to the script.
Stick to the script, exactly. Careful, I might walk out of here, in debt. But look, my new role is the tenant empowerment manager.
Yeah.
So predominantly, I look at assisting, or I help the tenants transition from their existing accommodation, whether that be from a hospital or from a group home or from their existing home, and transition into one of our into one of our amazing homes.
Okay.
Our homes are such dignified dwellings. They're not
Yeah.
just another home. And I think that's where my role comes in. I'm actually the lucky one because, Lil does the hard work and brings them in, and I get to see just the elation in their face and just to help them in their everyday living, and just so they know they've got someone there.
It's satisfying, isn't it? It's just so satisfying.
And incredibly rewarding.
It's a gift. It really is a gift to be witnessing.
I like that. It is.
And that's why I'm so privileged to be part of this team. And so I was so privileged when you guys invited me to come on board and to see what you guys are doing. It's just incredible. And to be able to just see firsthand that you're impacting on someone with disability, impacting on their everyday life, you can't. That's worth its weight in gold.
I must say, I'm a really good follower of yours. I've been following you for a long time.
Oh, wow.
I've been following you for a long time, so
You're a big fan.
Yeah, I'm
love you.
definitely a big fan of your
I
work.
love you.
So having you come on board was an easy decision.
Oh, that's so nice. So it has nothing to do with being related. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Definitely not.
But
All right.
yeah.
Well, no, that's look. That's thank you for the introductions. And look, once upon a time, you were the tenant empowerment manager when you first started, and as you've evolved and grown, and as the business has grown, parts of what we're doing need to be focused on more, so that we can be able to grow at the pace that we're hoping to grow. And then that included then being able to make sure that we're breaking it up as to what was happening at different parts in the process, starting from looking for the right site and purchasing the right property. But it'd be, let's go through and try and unpack how we go about doing that, and then how we work with a support provider in the first instance, in being able to form a friendship and a relationship, and how we try to really start thinking about what our values are, what their values are as well, and whether we're aligned.
Absolutely, and I think that's key because it's all very well for us to identify a property and build a house, but if we don't have the right supports within that home, then we're not doing what we set out to do and to help change people's lives moving into their homes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when we partner up with a SIL provider, which is who provide the supports within the home, it's important from the outset that we identify that in the first instance that we have the synergies and our synergies are aligned, because if their end goal is not about changing the lives and improving the lives of the tenants who move into our homes, then we're not doing our job properly.
Yeah. So when we're looking for a SIL, what would be your ideal SIL? What do they look like, for example? Just as an example.
Look, there's
Or
a,
the
there's a
philosophy,
number,
the
there's
way
their
they-
philosophy, and again, it's about their, in the outset, it's the philosophy should be that the tenant is the centre of their business.
Well said.
Their
Well said.
tenant, the person that they're supporting, is the centre of the business, and it's about, again, it's about changing their lives for the better, helping improve their lives, helping them become more independent within the space, the beautiful spaces that are fit for purpose that
Yeah,
we
well said.
build,
Yeah.
so that they can get on with their lives. And so aligning ourselves with the right SIL partner is key in this business. And so we go through a process of identifying the right SIL partner, and of course ideally we want to know that they've got a tried and tested experience in the space.
Yeah.
We need to know that that the supports are there, and there's people out there who are happy to be moving in and having their supports in that space. So we need to work with that SIL provider. We've aligned where our values are aligned, our synergies are aligned, and then we start talking about the location where we're looking to support participants, identifying that location, and then of course looking at the potential their client base who may
Be interested.
in moving to the home, and then of course if they don't have enough interested clients, we go to market. We'll go to the market, and we'll work together. We'll do a joint marketing campaign, and identify the right people, and we work with individuals. It's about everyone is unique and different, and we work with them moving forward. So the partnership, the SIL partnership is key from the outset, and we collaborate with the SIL partner.
For a long time.
For a long time, for many, many months,
Yeah.
for many, many months. And we work alongside them even in the design process, when we're designing the home and ensuring that the finer detail is addressed when we're talking about the design. So we collaborate with the SIL partners, we collaborate with the potential, the client, we collaborate with the client's family and the support coordinators.
And that's the nice part. And it's
Absolutely.
challenging because sometimes you open yourself up to a lot more feedback that might make it more complicated to find alignment. But look, working with Sam, for example, and doing that, and Sam's experience.
Oh, look, absolutely. The Sam's experience in this space is undeniable.
I agree.
Let me tell you,
Thanks.
Sam.
Have I
Sam
shown you
the
my
home-
cake? They call me Super Sam. I didn't bring it with me today.
Meet,
And I try not to wear my undies on the outside.
Meet Super
But
Sam,
it looks too good
guys.
to be not to.
Oh, that's a fitting title, Super Sam.
That Super Sam makes my job very, very easy.
Oh,
Because
good, I'm glad.
he
He's
shows
invested.
so much. He's so invested. He shows so much attention to detail, and he wants our tenants to come in there and have absolute pride and dignity in moving to those beautiful homes.
thanks.
And you go above and beyond in
And being able to
achieving that
balance.
outcome.
Thanks.
And balance
Thank
between
you.
what he can build and
Well, you
actually
know,
do.
this is a chat about
Absolutely.
you guys.
Yeah.
But actually,
That's
just
right,
to
that's
go
right.
back to something Sam said once,
Yeah.
only a few weeks ago, and he said, I would not build any one of these homes unless
I-
it was not good enough for me to live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
well,
just
that's
shows
it.
you that
Right.
dignity
And the-
and that attention
And
to
proof's in the
detail.
pudding. If
Yeah.
we
It is.
could say what we want, as we've always said, but when
Well,
you arrive at home.
I really can't take all the credit. In fact, I can't even take a bit
Take
of that
it while
credit.
you can.
I think a lot of the credit comes to us as a team, and how we frame what our philosophy is, and deliver that to our SIL partners and deliver it to our prospective tenants, and even our guys on site. I say that the same thing to them. I says, if you're going to build something, build it as though you're going to live in it. And so if that theme is carried out from the guy on site who's digging a hole to us as trying to find the tenants, to working with our SILs, if we all have that same philosophy, it's amazing. It just sings. It absolutely hums, and the delivery and the final product really just shows.
So
Absolutely.
we were having a good chat. We were having a good chat yesterday. Excuse the pun. We were having a good chat yesterday about the future of the designs and the way we thought that might be moving. So with the plethora of stakeholders that we're working with, importantly, first front and centre, like you said, is the tenant. We're starting to see that we're going to become more advanced in the way we're matching with our
Yes,
tenants and
that's
how they
right.
might live with others, because of the way that the NDIS, in order to sustainably continue to provide the funding that needs to under the policy. So we've started to think about how we
Of
get
course.
10 times better, 100 times better at that matching piece.
That's right, and that matching piece for obviously for tenants who are going to be moving into shared spaces, for 2 or
Oh,
3
right.
bedroom spaces, we need to identify that they're suited. So we go through a tenancy matching process where we like to obviously meet the tenants in person. We meet the families as well, and we drill right down to what their supports are, what they love, what they don't like, what their interests are,
Whether they're suited or
whether
not.
they're suited, and we will obviously come to understand who they are, what they need, and where they fit in, and what their goals are is just key as well.
Yeah.
And so then once we've drilled down and we've become very familiar with the tenant and we know their circumstances, then we can look at matching them with other tenants. And of course, there's a whole lot of reports and information that we need to have
And doing that again,
available.
and with the SIL, right?
All of this is done with the help of the SIL, and of course, their support coordinator is key in coordinating and managing that process. And so we would work with the SIL and the support coordinator and prepare, understand their needs and match them with the right person who's ideal for them.
It sounds,
and petition on behalf of the tenants because
Advocate,
it's such a long process. So
Yes, absolutely, and these things don't happen overnight, and there is a long process in doing this, but we believe that we should give it the time that it needs and that it deserves to get the best possible outcome, because at the end of the day, when our tenants move into these homes, we want them to stay for as long as they can and as long as
Tenants
they
for
want
life.
to.
As long as they want
Tenants
to.
for
Tenants for
life.
life.
As long as they want
So
to.
that sounds really, really challenging, but tell us about the other challenge, and that is trying to help our tenants get their approvals. And I'm not here to bash the NDIS, but the challenge is, so maybe from a different perspective, not the challenge with the NDIS, but the challenge is to how to keep them motivated and how to keep them
The morale.
the morale, because they've seen the property, they love the place, they really find themselves living in that home, and then they find their matching partner, and they really find that they can move in with that person, and they're going to have some great times together, and so they've really built this dream, and then they've been told that they are eligible for SDA and they're eligible to get the approvals, and again, I'm not trying to bash the NDIS, but how do you sort of manage that expectations with those tenants, because that's
hard.
I found it's challenging, right?
time.
Yes. Well, we essentially it's a journey, and we start out from the outset, and the tenants are a part of that journey from the outset. When we say, look, we've got a beautiful home coming, they get to see the images and the brochures, and they get to see what they can look forward to in this home, and we let them know all the stages and the process that we're going through, and we share the information with them. We let them know what stages the projects are at, and look, we keep them involved. We keep them across all the exciting part of the journey, and of course there's also some setbacks, but we work alongside the entire team, all the stakeholders, because there's no way we could get to the end goal of having a beautiful tenant move into one of our amazing homes without the help of all the team.
Exactly.
The entire team. So you've got the families, and you've got all their allied health, and you've got their support coordinators. So there's an enormous
It's
team.
an all-in effort.
All-in effort. There's
Big effort
from
big
everybody.
effort from everybody, and everybody contributes, and it takes that combined team effort to get them there, and the collaboration, and we're comfortable in doing that. We keep our the whole team informed
Yeah.
along the entire process. We meet with our partners, our collaborative SIL partners on a
project
weekly
control group,
basis.
yeah.
We talk about the projects. We talk about every step of the project. We get them involved in the design process.
That's a lot.
They
That's a
contribute in
Yeah.
the design process.
So there's a lot to it.
There's a lot.
Is
There's a
tenant
lot,
matching
and there's a lot of
sounds-
nuances.
Tenant matching?
A lot of nuances, and of course, at the end is your tenancy matching. You know, so there's a lot of hoops to jump through and hurdles to jump over, but we get there in the end.
It's satisfying.
Collaborating with a huge team, and it's incredibly rewarding when we get the
Well,
tenants
I guess
into
when the
home.
tenant moves in and
Coming to move in.
and it comes to
Or
move
comes
in,
to move in, that's when they
and Sonia,
That's
like you,
right. That's when I get to
then
step
that's the
in.
start of the journey, right?
and,
right.
and it gives me enormous joy to hand them over to Sonia because she's so capable in
Oh,
managing that transition
She's
process.
all right. She's
I'm
okay.
okay. I'm still learning.
You-
But you know, I don't say it lightly, but I do have the most enjoyable part of the entire process because it is really the icing on the cake.
Absolutely.
And by that I mean, you know, we've gone through all these hurdles, we've stayed in touch all these months, and then finally they get to realise their dream and they get to move into their new home. And but before they move in, we've got them involved in, you know, furniture
Which is Project
choice.
Good Feeling.
Yes, which
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
love
tell us
to,
about
love to
Project-
tell you
Yes.
about Project
Good
Good,
fe-
Feeling. It's a fabulous initiative.
So so it's good feeling, right?
Good feeling, because we're good housing, so it's good feeling.
Oh,
baby.
I
That's
like
it.
that.
Good feeling, baby.
The
I wanted to call it good
The
feeling,
marketing
baby.
team's working hard on it.
Exactly. So it's good feeling, baby, is what I'd like to call it. But yeah, look, it's a fantastic initiative that we've come up with at Good Housing, where essentially we are actually providing furniture from white goods, and we're furnishing the home of these tenants as a gift to the tenant.
So it feels great.
It feels great. So I'm like Santa Claus. I get to be Santa Claus like more than once in
Wow.
a year. So
How are you going to grow a white beard then? Are you going to be Santa
we have
Claus?
our ways. We have our ways. So it's a very unique position, and it's actually I'm in the lucky position.
But I don't understand. What do you mean? You're just giving them? Why are you giving them furniture?
Well, look,
some of them got their own furniture, right?
Exactly. So that's why we collaborate with the parents, with the actual tenant, and with the SILs. Pardon me. Actually, with the SILs, we got their advice on furniture pieces.
Yeah.
Because what we're looking at doing is we're providing their white goods, their couch, their cabinet, their TV. We're
can
furnishing the home, anything they want. So
Okay.
Fully furnished for them to move straight in.
But
that's
hold
it.
on. But okay, why not just give them the money? Why are you choosing the furniture?
Because we want to make sure that the furniture is catered to their specific needs. So,
Absolutely.
for example, HPS, a high physical support tenant, someone who's in a wheelchair, who's wheelchair bound, or has limited ability, we want to provide furniture that they can actually use. It's not just there to look good, and it's not just
for them.
pretty.
And it takes
It's
into
special.
consideration what it is. It's conscientious of who they are.
Of who they are and what they're going to use on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis. It's not just there to look good. It's there for them to
Okay,
use.
but if it's furniture that's specific for a person, wouldn't that normally be covered by the NDIS?
That's something they can perhaps try and get
There might be funding
in their
for it.
funding when
Okay.
when their OT, so their occupational therapist, comes in and assesses the home before they move in. That's something they can actually
Possibly. But in any
we
event-
don't want to wait around for that. You know,
So-
we are.
Sorry. So I was just going to say, so the furniture that you're choosing, it's a particular styling, and what is it matching the interiors? Because the interior designers work on this.
Yes.
Well, they spend a lot of time designing the
Yes,
homes, right?
and they basically come up with some mood boards, a variety of mood boards, and so we then go to the tenant and say, look, do you like the feel of this masculine room or this feminine room
Yeah,
or
that's
this
right.
neutral
Yeah,
room?
yeah.
Are you coming in with your own furniture?
Yeah.
If you don't want any of this, that's also fine.
That's also fine.
But we're
It's your
here
choice.
to help you because we're not just building an accommodation and saying,
Right.
okay, go for it. We're here because we
So-
want to enhance their everyday life.
So who puts the picture on the wall? Okay, let's say I've got my own furniture, but I need to put pictures up on the wall, or I've got a particular sculpture that I want to.
We help them with that. That's where my role comes in. As the tenant empowerment manager, I am there from transition, from the time they move from their existing accommodation to the time that they're there and have their first night's sleep. We bring in everything that's going to suit them, whether that's their existing furniture,
Yeah.
new pieces of furniture,
Yeah.
whether it be the pictures on the wall, we'll also put them up there, and anything that they've taken with them. We have a wonderful tenant that we already have who's moved his record player
That's
with him
right.
to
Yeah,
every.
and we've seen the video for that too.
We've seen the video for that, and that's just it's just heartwarming because you want them to have something that they're attached to as well.
And then finally there's the scorecard, and making sure that the scorecard with an outcomes framework is, whilst we've all talked about how great and what we're trying to do in making and creating impact for the tenants through the entire journey.
Yes.
Then you're responsible in working and
In making sure they're happy, and that's by a survey.
Yeah.
We're working in collaboration with some key stakeholders in the industry.
Social
Ventures
ventures.
Can I say,
Australia,
okay, SVA, Social Ventures Australia, whereby we've actually now introduced a survey which gets sent to the tenant every couple of weeks
to assess the outcomes.
to see, are you happy, is the services that you're receiving from SIL and your SDA up to scratch. It just keeps us all accountable.
Yeah.
It gives them a voice, and it just gives them an opportunity to make a change.
Okay, so what if I was a tenant? I wasn't really happy with some of the care that was happening at that time.
Well, there's several avenues.
Yeah.
Well, we pride ourselves on our complaint management policy, so any complaint or any areas of discontent gets handled straight away and in a transparent way. But their first point of contact would be their carers, so their SIL providers, and then that's when we can step in. We're happy
But
to
they've
step
got
in.
us to talk to.
They've got us as definitely as a backup. Usually the first point of contact is their support coordinator.
But if they need to lodge a
But
complaint, they lodge a complaint.
They lodge a complaint, and we'll take
No,
it on
good.
board, and we're happy to we're happy to collaborate with all partners to ensure that there's a positive outcome, and whatever issue needs addressing gets addressed.
That makes them feel comfortable. I think that's great.
Well, they have a voice. They have a voice, and that's
Absolutely.
what's important.
While I hate doing this, I do feel like there's a whole topic that we could go into to discuss just that.
Yeah,
as to when the
absolutely.
home is operational, to make sure
Absolutely.
that we are administering and there are practices that we have in place to deal with some of these complaints
Definitely.
that have come up. They're real, and then potentially, well, God forbid, some major incidents as well. But we could definitely delve into that, and I look forward to being able to do that in another episode.
Okay.
But I know our audience
outdid
loves
ourselves.
something short, sharp, to the
That's
point,
right, no,
good
tell us
chat,
back.
and they like to have it as a good chat rather than a long chat.
Yes.
But there's one thing after today, it just has reminded me, is how exceptionally lucky we are to have you, Lily, and how exceptionally lucky we are to have
Thank
you
you.
as well, Sonia.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. It's a
been-
privilege.
It's been our privilege and our honour.
Thank
My
you.
honour, absolutely.
And I'd like to
And
say
it's been an incredible journey, guys.
I'd like to say it's been an absolute pleasure being your brother and your brother.
I'm the lucky one. You're my older brother.
Well,
And
there you
my
go.
gorgeous
So
nephew.
Sonia and Nehme are my sisters.
Yeah.
Yay, and our handsome
Nephew, so proud of my
I've
nephew.
always,
that's
He's
right.
your nephew. He's your nephew too.
Yeah,
I forgot about
That's
that.
right.
We're managing and working on that on a daily basis, but I'll tell you what makes it a lot easier is
It
having my
does.
beautiful aunties here with me in the office.
Well, secretly, that's why
I love you both, dear.
I love nephew just like